What is up, basketball fans, and welcome back to Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast, where today we're going to break down games 1 and 2. We've got some qualms with the NBA. Is this even the NBA Finals? It'd be really hard to find that out just watching the game. Wouldn't be able to tell you if this is a regular season game, a playoff game, an NBA Cup game. I could tell you if that is the case because the court would be
definitely not that.
The court would tell me that it's an NBA Cup game. The court is not telling me that it's an NBA Finals game, but we've got some qualms to get through with the NBA on today's Zero Gravity, brought to you by J-Bar M. J-Bar M Barbecue is just a couple blocks away from Toyota Center. They got free parking. It's the best barbecue in Houston that you can get. They got great drinks, great people over at J-Bar M Barbecue. Shout out to Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. It's summertime. Get those Bloody Mary mix. Get the ready-to-drink cans. Get it all out with Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. Zang responsibly. And shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. They just opened their 14th location up in Cypress. So chances are, if you're in Houston, you're near Big City Wings. I'm your host, Tony Strankman, joined always by Sheldon. How are we doing, bud?
Always. I'm always here, and I'm always doing kind of good.
Yeah. You know, if you're not on the podcast, you're here with us in spirit, and you will be mentioned on the podcast as the numbers guy, even though you brought numbers exclusively one time for us. Yeah. And since then, you're just our numbers guy.
I don't know about exclusively one time, but
like it was like the first episode we did together. You had numbers ready to go, and ever since then, you're the numbers guy. Because sometimes you're not prepared with numbers, but you'll find them. You'll get there. You just need us to talk and fill the space while you can find those numbers.
Look, for the listener at home, if you want to be a numbers guy, all you need is a Cleaning the Glass subscription. So ask your parents. Sure. It's like $60 for a year. You don't even really need the subscription for a lot of stuff. So
there you go.
You too can be made fun of by your friends for talking about points per 100 possessions.
Yeah. Sounds great. Nerd. Let's dive into this. We've got some problems.
Yeah.
Got some real problems. So when we were growing up, the NBA Finals was
a long time ago.
It feels like a really long time ago. It really wasn't.
It does now.
We're not even 30 yet. So it's like we're close. We're not 30 yet. We're very close. But you had NBA logo, NBA Finals trophy. Larry O'Brien is all over the court. It's really big in the middle sometimes. Sometimes it's just in the corners.
Really
big.
It
says finals on the baselines. And you had the jersey patches, the little gold jersey patches or whatever, the NBA Finals logo on the chest. And when they put them on the back, I was fine with that. That's okay. Like last year, they had the gold patch on the back. I was like, would rather it be on the front, but it's there. Appreciate it. This year, none of that is present in any way, shape, or form. The pregame pageantry is nowhere to be found. And I find a big problem with this because obviously, big hockey guy. I'm watching the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's gotten a little worse over the years. It's not as good, but they have the pregame video where everyone's staring at the cup. They're showing montages of highlights from the playoff run, last year's playoff run, between this rematch of the Oilers and the Panthers. Like, this is a big storyline, and could this be the first team in Canada to win the Stanley Cup Finals in like the last almost 35 years at this point? Like, there's all these storylines, and they're going through all of that in pregame, and they show the national anthem, they show the players on the ice, they got the Stanley Cup patches on the jersey. I'm just comparing it to that, and there's juice in that building, and there's juice in OKC. I get it, and there's going to be juice in Indiana when we get to
building's great.
Building is incredible. However, the pageantry of it all is not there for the viewer that is watching on TV. I'm obviously not going to Edmonton or Florida for this series. Like, my stars are out of it. I'm not going to go spend money to get on a plane and get a hotel for either of those places. But the pageantry is there. I can feel it. I can sense it. My heart gets pumping blood just directly into my veins at a higher level because I'm excited about a game that I have no fandom towards either of these teams. Like, I love Florida. Great team. The Rats. That's awesome. I don't love either OKC or Indiana in any way, shape, or form. Like, they're just basketball teams that I enjoy watching, but I'm not getting juiced up because there's no pageantry leading up to it. There's no adrenaline junkie business. Like, there's nothing pumping my blood getting ready for this game. I'm like, the NBA Finals are on. I'm going to watch it because I know it's the NBA Finals. But I asked you before we even started recording, like if you're watching the YouTube highlights of this in 10 years, are you even going to know that it's the finals if they take the CGI AI finals logos off the court in the YouTube montage? Like, am I going to even know that it's the finals? I don't know. I couldn't tell you if a 5-year-old right now that really loves basketball and then in 10 years grows up and is like, I want to go back to that 2025 finals when we had the two smallest markets playing the NBA finals. That's a good one I should go look at. A lot of good players. You got the MVP and Shea, the Halaban. You got all these things going for you. I need to get well versed on this. Wait, this is the finals? I couldn't tell. There's no jersey patch. There's no pageantry. There's no freaking trophy on the court. I just want to see one.
Yeah.
That's it. One real trophy on the court. That's all I want to see.
Yeah. There is a patch on the jersey. I will say that.
There is?
I thought there wasn't, because I guess I wasn't watching closely enough in game one.
I can't
My bad.
see it.
Hand up. It's on the back. It's
Is it
like
the same
right,
as last year?
I think so. Yeah, right below the collar,
Just
like
a little
right
round
above the name. Yep, just a
basketball
little
with finals
round,
on it.
which is like I can barely see it. I didn't even notice it.
I noticed it last year, but maybe it's the jerseys that make it pop a little bit more, like the white Mavericks
Yeah.
one and the green Celtics one. Maybe that helped out, but
Maybe.
still, I didn't like the placement last year either. It needs to be on the
Yeah.
front. It needs to be on the front.
Yeah, I think it's also, and I'm not a hockey guy at all, but I watched the Super Bowl. I'm a
Super Bowl does it. World Series does it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. It's like baseball. Obviously, we've got to watch our baseball team on the biggest stage quite a bit over the past, almost a decade now. And it is, yes, like it's nerve-wracking and awesome, and the anticipation is great because your team is there, but also TBS and Fox do so much to build up the moment. And the MLB, like they bring out legends of the game to throw out the first pitch from those respective teams, and the anthem is always going to be, I'm not even like a play the anthem at all possible moments guy, but it's like, it's just part of it. It's just part of it. And it's going to be on TV, and there's all this hype. They're pumping in noise. It's like, it's the World Series. They're going to show the trophy every single commercial break. And now I'm watching the NBA, and it's everything that you just said. There's a patch, and
okay,
they gave us the here. Okay, fine. Like, please shut up, little trophies. They said, chat, generate an image of the Larry O'Brien trophy.
It was an emoji.
Yeah.
It looks like an emoji of the Larry O. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Great name for a trophy, by the way. It should be the
Larry.
David Stern trophy, but I'll take Larry O. That's good.
I was making sure I spelled his name right earlier. Did a quick little Google search. I did spell it correctly. But I did see that Wikipedia, which before anyone says anything about Wikipedia to the 19 viewers who will have, it is fact checked. But I think it's just pure like fact checked by random dudes. So maybe it's not that great. Anyway, it said he was a politician. So I was like, maybe we should look into this guy's history.
He was the commissioner.
Well, sure.
Before David Stern took over, I believe. Maybe he was just like 70s. I think he was the commissioner. And then Stern was deputy commission, ended up taking over in the 80s. And then that's when we stopped getting on tape delay and all the good things in the NBA started happening. Obviously, Magic and Larry Bird come into the league, and that helps out a lot. And then Michael Jordan, he got lucky with a lot of good players, but he had a lot of good players before then. It shouldn't have been on tape delay, but I digress. I miss the pageantry,
He was the postmaster general for LBJ.
Sure.
Not LeBron James, just to clarify.
Yeah, the president.
Lyndon Johnson.
And vice president at one time.
And he was chair of the DNC.
Interesting. And then he was an NBA commissioner?
Yes, he was also that.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't very good at it either, so I don't know why we're naming it after him, but someone did tweet out a picture of the old NBA trophy that they would hand out to the finals champion. And it looks very much like one of the either Western Conference or Western Conference trophies that they hand out in hockey.
Okay.
It's just like it's a bowl, and then it's got this kind of mount, like wooden mount, and it's got plaques of all the teams that had won it before. And it was passed around, and it was passed from team to team. So you never kept it, and you never got to keep it for
Oh.
You got to keep it for the year, and then you had to give it back, and then you got the replica after that. So that it had a little mystique to it, but trophy itself, not a good looking trophy. The Larry O'Brien is a great looking trophy.
The Walter A. Brown Trophy, as it was called, looks like something you would see in like a ancient Rome museum.
Yeah, it really does look like the conference champion trophies now in hockey
I
that have
believe you.
been going on for 100+ years now at this point. But
I gotta say, Larry O'Brien Trophy doesn't really do it for me.
it's good though. It's the
I don't know.
gold. It's the
a good.
gold.
It's a really good silhouette.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. It just
I'm
looks really
probably
good as a logo.
yeah.
The
I'm
Super
probably
Bowl one looks
overthinking it.
really good as a logo. Like the Super
Yeah.
Bowl trophy objectively is not an impressive trophy. It's just a big silver stick with a ball on it.
Yeah. As long as we can agree that the college football playoff trophy is a huge downgrade
Oh,
from
give me the
from
crystal
the
ball.
crystal football. I need my trophy to be breakable.
Yeah, 100%.
I
You need that.
I need to feel like I'm holding it like a newborn child.
Like when Gronk had the Super Bowl trophy at the Red Sox game, and they were taking batting practice, and he was acting like he was going to hit it, and then he did hit it, and just completely dented the Super Bowl trophy at Fenway
Good.
Park. Yeah, I need that. I need them when they're throwing it. Another Gronk story, but when Brady threw it from boat to boat when they were in
Yep.
Tampa, I need that to happen.
He
The
was
World
super
Series trophy
drunk.
looks like it's the most feeble trophy of all time. Like you just break one of those sticks off with the flag on it. Like I need that. Need that in my life.
Yeah, well, George Costanza did drive through the Yankees parking lot with one of the trophies.
People forget.
Yeah,
Yankees legend. George
gotta leave
Costanza.
gotta leave the past behind you.
All right, that's enough about the pageantry. We're upset about it. We need more. NBA, do better. You're the only league now out of the big four leagues in the America that are not just. You're not doing anything to help your cause. Like you just
I feel like we're
did
going
away with
backwards.
everything. Did
It's
away with
weird.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, feels like we blew all the budget on the bright red and bright yellow courts in October and November.
That's the really big thing because they said the court, they're not putting the finals trophy on there for player safety. They had a lot of concerns, but then
Yeah.
we're putting the way bigger trophy of the NBA Cup on there, and it's colored courts. We're not having a problem there. We had a problem last year. Players were pissed off about it. They didn't like it. And then this year there was no complaints.
Well,
Weird.
Steve Kerr said it looked like he was descending into the depths of hell or something like
The
that.
red courts are tough.
Which is how I feel watching a trophyless court in the finals.
It's bad. It's bad, NBA. You need to fix it.
Help us. Do something for us for once.
Because the part of the fan experience, if you're not able to go to the game, is to see the things that you would not be able to see unless you were at the game. Like that's part of it. Like you want to see the anthem.
Like YouTube TV ads.
Yeah. 7 CGI AI generated YouTube TV ads on the court at one time, and then one YouTube TV on the baseline, actually built into the baseline, I believe, in game 1. There was 8 YouTube TV ads on the court at one time throughout game 1.
Are you a YouTube TV guy?
I am. I enjoy it thoroughly. I just wish they had like NHL Network and I believe it's MLB Network. They don't have that anymore. If I could have if I could have both of those, I'd be good.
It's kind of crazy you can't just add that on.
Well, I have the sports package. They had MLB Network last year, and I think they got rid of it this year. They just didn't extend the contract. And then NHL Network. That's really only for like 2-3 games of the year where the Stars end up playing on that I can't watch. But now they have Victory Plus, so I can watch it for free. So it doesn't even matter.
You're talking about MLB Network, the channel, not MLB TV, which you can normally add on.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 different things.
I use Josh's subscription because he gets it for free. So,
hey,
shout out
nice.
to T-Mobile. Shout out to
T-Mobile. That's right. Do.
Yeah. Is that the right tune there?
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
That is a tune. I don't remember if that's it, but whatever.
Whichever one Zoe Saldana is in the commercials for.
Yeah. Game 1 though.
Oh
Holy
man.
Shit. Holy shit. Like
worth all the complaining we just did. Like I will take all of the garbage that is the lack of pageantry and soul in this finals for game 1.
If we get 7 of those games, which
I'll just take one, but
now we can't But yeah, if we can have multiple of those games, that makes up for it. I'm good. One was a great start. OKC just looks like the better team for a
Yeah.
majority of the game. They're up 15 points at one time, and the fourth quarter comes around, and these cardiac Pacers, man, the yes sirs, as they
Yes,
say.
sir.
I don't even know how it happened. I really don't. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm sitting in bed watching this game. Had a long night. Had a handful of drinks. I'm just sitting there and watching. I'm just like, I don't even know how this is happening. It's basketball, obviously. It's the game of runs. Like every team goes on a run, and then the other team answers with a run, typically. And the Pacers just did it, and Halliburton gets that ball, and he's 5 of 6 on his field goal makes and attempts on games that are like less than 5 seconds or whatever. And then, like on his
Oh, is
game-winning
that right?
shots, he's 5 of 6 in his career, and he's had what 3 or 4 in this postseason alone.
That sounds
It's
right. Someone sent me that he was 5 of 5 on game tying or game winning buckets in the
Yeah, maybe that's what
playoffs.
it is. And like
And so I
LeBron
guess
has
that's
the best percentage with more than like 20 attempts, and Kobe's on there with like 22 attempts, and he's made 3, I believe. And yeah, that list is very funny because it's just like legend, 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 Haliban, legend, 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 legend. Like, and maybe Haliban's going to be a legend at this point. Like, if he just keeps doing what he did in game one, obviously he didn't have the stats. I think what he had 14 points, like, but he made the bucket that counted. That's
yeah,
when it came down to. It's like, it doesn't matter
yeah,
how you play the entire game. If you come home with the W, doesn't matter how you played. It really
yeah.
doesn't. And he made
So
the game winning shot.
yeah, just a little recap. In the last 4 minutes, the only 2 field goals, or OKC only made 2 field goals.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those were SGA, or both of them were SGA, and then the rest of the points they scored were all free throws shot by.
SGA.
Do you want to guess? Yeah,
Okay.
SGA, which is fine. He probably just had the ball all
Yeah.
the time. So going back to about the 6-minute mark, it's the same thing. J-Dub shoots a couple free throws. Other than that, no field goals. And in that, you have Miles Turner, 16-foot jumper. Tyrese Halliburton makes 2-point shot. Siakam, free throws. Neesmith, 23-foot three-pointer. And this is where these were the big ones. So that three-pointer makes it a 102-108 game. And then the next shot that they make, so J-Dub misses a 20 or a three-pointer.
There's like 2 minutes left at this point, right? Like a minute 48 or something.
There's precisely 2 minutes and 16 seconds when J-Dub misses that shot. Andrew Nembhard gets the ball, and he just straight up walks down SGA. Puts like that's like some prime Harden step back stuff.
And
right
that
there.
was the prime Mike Breen bang. And he's being surrounded by people that just will not elevate him to the level that he needs to be. This is the other issue with the pageantry, where we got terrible broadcasters with Mike Breen, and he forgets to do a bang in the NBA Finals in the closing moments.
I was so really both of the big moments. It
I don't think he's
really felt like
washed.
they fell short.
I don't think he's washed. I think that's a teammate issue.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely not being set up very well. He's carrying all the water. Also, Doris Burke getting hit with her own version of the Miles Turner trade rumors right before this final start is like, that's kind of brutal. Like,
that's tough.
I get it. I don't really care for his two compatriots. Really, most of the ABC, ESPN guys, but whatever. It's a hard job, but they're humans, and like for that to get leaked while you're about to,
that's tough.
Commentate on the biggest stage. That's tough. I respect to Rick Carlisle for standing up for, and saying what he said. I don't remember exactly what it was, but back to Andrew Nembhard. We haven't known each other long enough, but I have been on the Andrew Nembhard fan club boat.
Are you on
whatever you want to call
the
it?
Bill Simmons stock trade market of Nembhard Island?
Listen, I'm pretty sure I predate Bill Simmons and the Nembhard fandom. So if anything, he is on
the Sheldon
whatever you just said.
Market.
Okay. That's right.
It's always the funniest when Bill's like, "Well, I'm the only owner on this island. Actually, I saw a little fire over there across the island the other day. I saw someone new. Was that you?"
Yeah,
I love when he does that.
Yeah, I'm the only fan of this guy who's the most popular guard on social media right now.
Yeah, it's really good. I love it.
I've been here. I'm at this point, I'm not even like dealing with stock. I'm just cashing in on the dividends that
Okay.
I'm pulling in.
You just own the company. All right, got it.
Yeah, that's right. Career 48% 3-point shooter in the playoffs last season and this season.
42.
That is insane. That is a more than 10% increase from his regular season 3-point percentage.
Him and Neesmith,
For
man.
both years.
This this run for both of them, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have flames shooting out of my ass in the fourth
It's
quarter. Don't worry,
insane.
guys, I got it.
Yeah. What's weird is like watching Nembhard, you can tell he's not like a great 3-point shooter. You
Yeah,
know, like the greats, the way they miss, you can tell that dude rocks. And some of his misses are like bad, but for whatever reason,
do the
what
Pacers have overall the worst looking jump shots as a whole, as a
as a
team
collective,
in the NBA? Because
maybe.
everyone on that team, every time they shoot a jump shot, I'm like, I think mine looks better, and I haven't shot a basketball in over
You're
a
like,
year at
I'm
this
only
point.
shooting from the high school line, but I think, yeah,
I think my jumper looks better, and I haven't shot a basketball
Halliburton's
in a
got
year.
his own thing. I feel like who Nembhard and Siakam probably have like the most normal because even
And it
it
still
looks
looks
very like
funny.
pushy. Uh, McConnell's the
Yeah.
same way. Neesmith had probably his
McConnell's
arms
is
are
tough.
probably like the most traditional, but he's jumping like pretty high like every time, like a real. It's like a
Yeah, like a little Ray
yeah, like
Allen
a
jump.
real jump shot. And then Miles Turner's he's got like some Al Horford. I
Yeah.
haven't looked close enough, and I'm not like a shot doctor, but it looks like he's like holding the ball weird. So maybe, but it just makes it even better that they're just such an electric 3-point shooting team. But
Yeah, and the other stat I pulled from game one was that Rick Carlisle was the coach of the 2011 Dallas Mavericks, obviously. The last time a team came back on the road in game one of the finals down 15 points or more in the second half and won the game
yeah,
was the 2011
there you
Mavs
go.
in the finals. Like, that's the last time it's happened in the finals. And Rick Carlisle happened to be the head coach for both those teams. Thought that was interesting.
What was the result of game 2 of that finals? Let's see.
I
I'm
can't
looking
remember.
at it. Oh,
I think the Heat win that one, right?
wait, so Miami won game 1, right?
Mhm. Was it game
That's what
one?
I'm looking.
Or so maybe it was game
And
two.
then yeah, I think that was it. So
Is that the one where he hit Bosch with the layup with like 5 seconds left or something? Dirk?
oh,
I
I don't
can't
remember.
remember.
I know exactly
It's a
which
long time
layup
ago
you're
now.
talking about. I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
Um,
And the announcer goes, he shot it too early. He shot it too
I
early.
hate
It's
that
too
stuff.
much
Just go
time.
score.
Didn't matter.
Anyway, yeah, Team
Yeah.
of Destiny stuff.
Yeah. And then tonight happens.
Well, yeah, we can get to that. But real quick on the Halliburton stuff, everyone's probably talked, so much about it. But
Yeah.
my favorite aspect, one, I'm just like loving this. We know.
Mhm.
I'm very much just as much as I am on the Nemhard fan bus, fan tour, whatever. I'm also there with Halliburton. And the more I learn that people dislike him, which I think is kind of changing with this run,
Yeah.
the more it has made me like him even more. But the fact that
There you
OKC
go.
fans were talking about how good OKC's strategy had been online, and they're right to force him to shoot pull-ups since his form takes a little longer and it's harder, so he's more indecisive, all that stuff, only for him to
Yeah.
win the game on a last second pull-up.
It's
That's just
good.
poetry, They were right, but it's also
It's
funny
good.
that he made them eat their words.
And the Reggie Miller reaction when he's in his house,
Oh,
he's got the
dude,
camera on
so good.
that couch and the whole family sitting there and the whole family's just going crazy. Like, it's good stuff. That's the
Yeah.
good stuff
That's
right
when
there.
that's a really cool element that I've been thinking about a lot, or it just like pops into my head for these two teams. Like someone is going to win their first championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder
No,
have the
no, they don't.
Supersonics ones, but
No,
that
they don't.
doesn't count because they don't play in Seattle and they don't play as the
Yeah. Old
Supersonics.
Sonics
So
fans probably tell you that doesn't
doesn't
count
count.
unless they traveled with the Thunder.
Oh, well, they disowned this team
Yeah.
once they moved. So
So,
yeah,
yeah, someone's going to win their
they're
first.
Portland Trailblazers fans.
Yeah, someone's going to win their first finals, and that just makes like all those moments even cooler because you're getting to watch stuff like Reggie Miller and those kinds of players. And I got to listen to I mean, you maybe listen to it too. Jeff Green on Zach Lowe's pod just talk about like those early OKC days and stuff like that. And he's like rooting for them now and stuff like that. Like it's cool, like all these old player connections. But
The OKC one, I was just thinking about it because Reggie Miller, he's obviously the face of the Pacers, and for forever,
yeah,
like he's just going to be the face
yeah,
of the Pacers. Unless this team ends up winning a finals, then one of these players is going to be the face of the Pacers forever. But him having all these reactions and these emotions to this team that he hasn't played for in over 20 years now at this point, and that's really cool. But OKC, like KD left, and I'm sure he still has love for OKC, but he left on his own accord, like chose to leave. Now he's probably one of the most hated guys in Oklahoma City. Like, I don't know if the hate's kind of downgraded over the last couple of years now that you got Shea and you got an MVP, you're in the finals now, so it's a little
I
bit
think it has
different,
died
but
a little.
was the most
Yeah,
hated guy. He was the most hated guy for a while. Russell Westbrook ends up leaving, getting traded. James Harden wasn't there long enough. Like, Serge Ibaka's not good enough to be that guy. Like, they don't have a legend just like rooting for him right now.
yeah.
And that's kind of weird with all of the incredible players they had over the
I'm
years. Not one of them. They're all still playing, so I get why they can't be rooting for them. But if they had retired, like if KD had retired last year or whatever, like he's not sitting at home recording himself in the living room watching it. He's probably in the gym getting shots up.
yeah,
In the
just like
club,
on his own.
Just
like
that's what he's doing.
bullshit
Like
guard.
he's yeah. Russell Westbrook
Yes.
would be the one
He'd
that
be
I
at the
think
game.
would
He
have
wouldn't
all
be at home.
this. He'd probably just be there.
He
Yeah.
for the Thunder fans that I know who have like grown up in OKC, he can do no wrong. And I respect, and I think that's totally fair and how they should feel about him. He's the one who stuck it out. He's the one who, even if he kind of put his foot in his mouth with some of the stuff he said about KD publicly, or it was just like, I don't know, whatever. You talk your trash.
He was sticking up for
exactly.
his team.
And for the city is what it feels like when you're in those markets like that. They just so obviously big city markets identify with their team, but it's just like to an even higher degree when it's like the only professional sport in your town. So it is.
Yeah, I mean, my college roommate's a Memphis fan. Like, he still talks about Zebo and Pau Gasol and Mike Conley. Mike Conley's his favorite player still to this day, and he's like, "I love Mike Conley. That's my guy. He wore my favorite number." Like all that. Like
You're
that's
not
his
concerned
guy.
that he's a problem when he's on the floor for the Timberwolves. He's like, I'm nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, "That's my guy. I hope he makes a bunch of 3-pointers and doesn't fall apart on that court." Like, that's what he is.
Yeah.
So yeah. But this is cool. I mean, Indiana versus OKC. I know it was the least viewed finals game in the last, I don't know, 15 years or so, I believe at this point.
That's
like,
the NBA's fault.
Ratings don't matter, but that's the NBA's fault because they're not doing the pageantry. They're not hyping this up as an NBA finals. And these are two objectively incredible basketball teams and really fun basketball teams to watch. If you take all of the OKC off the court and post-game shenanigans out of the way. If you take all that away, I love this team, but I hate them.
I
hate them.
But they're like you respect them though. Right?
Yeah. PJ Washington would have beat him if we made
okay. Yeah. But like you were
3-0 this year. I don't know what
you
to
respect
do, man.
them even if you think they're corny or whatever. Like those guys are good.
I don't want to bring up the Mavs in this, but the Mavs tweeted out the other day, PJ Washington versus OKC this year, 3-0, and then had all of his stats. And I was just like, why are we tweeting this out it was before game 1 of the finals. It was like during the afternoon. So it's a Friday day news dump. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Have some wherewithal.
Yeah.
Have some fucking wherewithal.
That's some loser mentality.
Brutal.
But all that to say,
brutal. All right,
amazing game 1. I'll never forget it. It was incredible.
Incredible. One of the best game ones. One of the best finals games that we've had in
long time.
A few years. Like, it's gonna last a lifetime. I'm gonna remember that one for a long time. Game 2, not gonna remember that.
I already forgot most of it.
Yeah. First half. What I noticed from this game is that the refs aren't calling fouls when they should be, and then they're calling fouls when they shouldn't.
Okay. So,
like, the SGA is getting fouled on every possession, and I think the Pacers are also getting fouled on every possession. I thought there was a lot of shooting fouls that they should have called that they didn't call, and then go down the court and someone gets fouled like 3 times and then ends up deciding to shoot, is not touched at all during the shooting motion at all, misses the shot, gets the foul call, goes to foul call, but they should have been fouled 3 seconds ago
Yeah.
before then. And I'm like, at this point, call the bullshit. Like, call the stupid fouls where they're just grabbing them towards a drive or when they're trying to get into motion. And then you can get rid of that throughout the rest of the game. If you call enough of those fouls, they're going to stop doing that. And then you can get into the nitty gritty of the game and it'll be a little bit. There's just more flow when it happens like that. If you just get rid of it early and they didn't, and then it happened the rest of the game. It's like all of these things happen. Like Lou Dort's just mean mugging people. Like Siakam's just killing people. Like they're both doing it and they're not getting foul calls. And then when there shouldn't be a foul call, there is a foul call. And it's like, can we fix that? I don't know. Game flow
I
was
didn't
just
feel
weird.
like that in particular stuck out to me, but that makes sense now that you say it did feel like just a super mucky game. Like everything was moving
And it
super
happened mainly
slow and stuff like that.
during the replays. Like then you get to see it in slow motion. I'm like, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul. And then he ends up shooting.
Yeah.
Not a foul. There's no one touching him. There's no foul there. And then I'm just like, guys, we gotta do something about this.
Yeah, there was one sequence where Nemhard leans into Dort and they call Dort for the foul. Dort's upset about it. And broadcast is like, well, Nemhard did lean into him, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, since when does that mean that it wasn't a whatever? But, and then basically the reverse play happens on the other side and it ends up getting challenged, or the opposite call is made, but it ends up getting challenged. And then the broadcast is saying like the exact opposite, where they're like,
but then the call was upheld.
yeah, whichever happened, I don't remember, but it's someone leans into the defender. I think it was Miles Turner, and then they ended up kind of falling into him because they did that. It was J-Dub. That's what happened. And so he falls into Turner, then Turner kind of falls into him because of this contact, which is like, yeah, that's probably a foul, but it's just funny that the broadcast is like, broadcast and officials can't get on the same page. Fans and officials can't get on the same page. And so, yeah, of course the players are like probably really confused and frustrated.
Yeah. It's just the flow of it was weird. And then OKC is obviously just pretty much shooting the lights out. They're making hard threes. They're making open threes. They're making all the right decisions. And Indiana just like, this is when OKC's defense became suffocating. This is what I expected coming into this finals is like their defense is so good. Who can stand out and go get a bucket when you need a bucket? And Siakam, Halliburton, like everybody just wasn't able to do it in the first 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, Halliburton just kind of started going off. He had 17 points when I turned it off and called it a day with like 4 minutes left. But they got the lead down to like, 14 at one point, 13, 12. And I'm just like, okay, here we go. Now it happens. And then all of a sudden, OKC just goes on a run and it's 20 points. Pacers come back and they make it down to 17, 15. And you're like, okay, here we go. And then OKC's just like, yep, here's a 3. Here's another 3. Here's a turnover. Here's a 3. Like, and they would just keep expanding the lead to where the Pacers just could not keep the flow that they were having. And OKC just did away with it. They played exceptional basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they outscored them by 18 in the first half?
And yeah, I think it was around there.
Yeah. So 20-26 first quarter, 21-23 was the second quarter. And so they've built that sizable lead. And then third and fourth quarter, it's like basically a wash.
That Siakam 3 at the end of the first quarter where he just didn't shoot it on time. He just sat there and paused for a second. And then he ends up making the 3, but it's a second after the buzzer. Like if he shoots that and makes it, then it's 26-23. They have the momentum going into the second quarter. Like maybe there's something different that happens in this game because of it. And it's not necessary. It doesn't look like a blowout, but it was a blowout pretty much the whole second half.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying though. Is like the second half was kind of a wash. Like scoring,
they were even.
They just separate, but I don't know how much of that is OKC maybe kind of taking their foot off the gas offensively at least. Well, they still scored in the 30s. So, the funniest thing about that Siakam 3 to me is that the fans started cheering once he made it because they realized that the buzzer had already gone off, and that was just kind of a funny. Usually there's like a collective like, oh, and instead they were super excited. Yeah. Big thing for me for this game was how awful Indiana was in the half court. At halftime, it was like 2 percentile, something like that.
There was no flow for their offense. Like they would get past half court and then they would stop. They wouldn't keep doing the fast break thing that they've done throughout the playoffs. That's won them a lot of games. They would just try to settle into an offense. And I'm like, Why don't you just go play your offense? Run to the basket, see if there's an open three, like try to
Yeah.
make those. Like they just weren't doing that very often. And Miles Turner couldn't do anything. Halliburton couldn't do anything. Siakam couldn't do anything. Halliburton had what, 3 points going into the fourth quarter, or at the end of the third quarter, somewhere in like 3-4 minutes left. Like he had 3 points. That was it. He ended up going off in the fourth quarter, but it didn't matter at that point because OKC was like, okay, you're going to score, but I'm going to go score 3 now.
Yeah.
You got 2, I get 3. I go up 1 there.
Yeah. Yeah. They were forced to play really slow. Okay. So they took the pace out of Pacers in a real way. Really just rip. Transition was like almost non-existent for the Pacers in the first half, and it looks like they picked it up a little in the second half, at least by the numbers. And even their half-court offense got better, but I think a lot of that is probably just a little more shot making, because that was really the only numbers-wise in the first. Like if we're just looking at the first half where that huge lead was developed, really the only difference, production-wise, is the shot making. OKC made like 10 more shots on about the same number of attempts. That's roughly a 20-point lead, and they just rode that out the rest of the game.
And free throws were pretty much even, I believe, at the end of the day. Like they both had around the same amount of free throws, so that's all fine and dandy. There's too many for my liking, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, it was a tough game too to watch. Like it just wasn't. There's no pageantry, one, so you're already like kind of pissed off heading into it, and then the first quarter you're like 26-20. Okay, we can play with this. This is good.
Yeah.
And then the second quarter happened, and it was. I thought there was a chance. I was like, Pacers are down 15. They got them right where they want them, boys. Like we're so back, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I did think it was funny. We were talking about hopping on early, in the middle of the game, or in the middle of the fourth quarter to do this, and I just have in the back of my head the whole time. I'm just like, no lead is safe. Like, surely
I sent that with 9 minutes left, and at that point, I felt very confident. I was like, "Let's hop on with 6 minutes left.
Sure.
Go ahead and get this done." And then I got an ESPN notification. There's a little over 2 minutes left, maybe 3 minutes left, and it's like, "Can Halliburton and the Pacers make this comeback?" And I was like, "Did they just make like 3 threes in a row, and we got a real fucking ball game here? And I got to turn it on my phone. They're still down 18, and there's 2 minutes left." So I was like, "Never mind. There's nothing here."
They were just cashing in on the old magic.
Yeah.
I will say, if you like to watch insane defense, it was at least an interesting game because
and it wasn't a low scoring game either. 107 points like that in a finals game is objectively above average. Like in an NBA finals game, that's a good amount of points. But the problem is you gave up 123.
Yeah. I think the way OKC's defense really bothers them, though, is obviously the Pacers are trying to do this really fast motion. We've heard Carlisle tell them, like, stop waiting, just shoot the three as soon as you have it and stuff like that. And then, but OKC's defense is just so good at making you doubt yourself for like that split second. Because, like when you're going to shoot, when you're open, you're kind of making that decision as the ball is coming to you.
Yeah.
But they are so good at swarming and helping and getting under you. And they have so many guys who can move so well that you're like doubting, like, am I going to catch this ball? And this guy's already going to be in my grill. And there's like that split second hesitation. And then all of a sudden he's closed in on you, or you wait too long to shoot and you still shoot anyway. And then it's just a bad shot. Something like that. It's really impressive. I wish I knew more like defensive X's and O's and help and stuff like that. I listen to people like Caitlin Cooper, I think's her name, who writes about the Pacers, talk about it. And I was just like, she's running laps around everything I know, but it's insane.
Well, at any moment in time, like you got 3 elite defenders on the court, like Caruso, Dort, Williams, Jason Wallace. Like you can throw any of those 3 guys out there, have Shea and then Chet or Hartenstein. Like those are all plus defenders. I think they're good defenders. I don't know if they're necessarily great, but you have 3 elite defenders on the court at any moment in time that can go swarm and close out on any shot at any moment in time. And it just makes things so much harder. That's why game 1 was so incredible, because I was like, there's just no way. There's no way they come back. And then on Case and Wallace, great defender, maybe elite defender, and Halliburton just puts it on him. And then game 2, it just suffocating. That's how I describe their defense. It's suffocating.
Yeah, it is. My last kind of note on this game was that we've talked about, well, I don't know if we've talked about, But it's been talked about a lot how the Pacers are willing to play like 11 guys through the playoffs, and that's just kind of like unheard of. Like my prime playoff watching experience has been Mike D'Antoni rolling out a 7-man lineup where Eric Gordon is playing like the entirety of the bench minutes.
Josh
And
Hart.
you've got yeah, basically. Yeah, Thibodeau, all these guys. And then Indiana's doing this. And obviously OKC, they have the guys, but they haven't really deployed them nearly the same way. And the bottom of their bench is much better than Indiana's, I think. And they just kind of beat them at their own game tonight. They're like, oh, you want to play 11 guys? Have you heard of Andrew Wiggins? Or sorry, Aaron Wiggins?
Yeah.
Sorry, Aaron, if you're out there.
Kind of
this is, it's probably the story of his life.
A little bit. It's tough. Tough
kind of sad, actually.
His number one pick.
I feel really bad now. Sorry, Aaron.
No, it's okay. He's fine.
Also ruined my whole flow. But anyway. Yeah, they're just like, let's just bring this guy out here. He made like 6 threes.
They just have 11 guys that can go do that. Yeah. And then they're like, we don't even have to play 11. We'll play 9. We're good with 9. Maybe 8. We'll be fine. We're good. Don't worry about us.
Yeah.
AJ the Pacers, they kind of need 9, 10, 11 guys to win games. Like they need everyone to kind of produce, play defense, get out in the fast break. And that just didn't happen in game 2.
Yep. It really did not. TJ McConnell or Mathurin and McConnell were their best bench scorers, which is fine. But when Mathurin's doing it, it feels a little bit more like an anomaly. And Toppin's got 3 points.
It's fine when that happens if Halliburton, Siakam, and Turner are scoring as well.
Yeah. If it's a legit spark and not like, oh, you're the only person who's scoring. That's not good.
Yep. Not ideal.
Yeah. Game 2 is a dud. I do want to say I feel like the narrative is going to be this is my actual last thing. So I think the narrative is going to be very reasonably OKC has led 99% of these 2 games.
Yeah, the only time Indiana got a lead was Halliburton's game-winning shot.
Yeah, they've literally had the lead for 0.3 seconds of 2 games. But they still have home court advantage now. Which is crazy. They still have home court advantage. And they have a great home court. Like those fans are going to be so loud. It's going to be awesome.
Different sport, but I just watched the Stars in round 1 against Colorado. They didn't lead. They didn't lead a game other than 20 seconds of game 3. Or it was maybe 60 seconds. In game 3, they took the lead in the second period, and then Colorado tied it up immediately. And then they took the lead, and they go to overtime that game as well. They went to overtime 2 games in a row. They lost game 1. That was a wash. It was like 5-2 or 6-2 or something like that. They got killed. And then game 2, they win in overtime, come back, win that one 4-3. They win game 3 in overtime 2-1. They led for 60 seconds out of 3 total games and had a 2-1 series lead. It happens. It's very weird, but it can happen. And Dallas lost home ice advantage because they had home ice to start the series. They lost it, but then they evened it up in Colorado. They go home 2-2. They win game 5, and then they win game 7. They win at home. If Indiana can just win, at this point, win 1 game at home.
Yeah.
If it's 3 or 4, and then this is still very much a series. Me and Josh both had Indiana in 6, or not Indiana, OKC in 6. Sorry.
Okay.
OKC in 6. We said one of these freaky ass games is going to happen where they're just going to have a game winning shot. It is what it is. And we didn't expect it to be game 1, however. So I didn't know that was going to happen. And I was like, then we might get an Indiana blowout where they win by 10 to 15 points at the end of it, but they're up 15 to 20 throughout most of the game. In the fourth quarter, they let up. And that was our way to 2 wins. So we're halfway there. For our prediction. You had OKC in 5, I believe.
I had OKC in 5, but after game 1, I'm like, oh man, just like doing it on the road is like, I don't care how you win. Beating a team on the road in the finals is hard. And especially when you are the underdog by like 9.5 points or whatever it was.
Yeah. And they're a minus 700 favorite OKC is to win the finals before the finals started.
Yeah.
Like the 3rd biggest finals odds heading into the finals in history.
Yeah, so before I double down on like after tonight, it'd be easy to be like, "Yep, OKC in 5 was right. They
Right.
got the fluky win, and now they're just gonna walk them down for the rest of the series." But before I do that, I have to see Indiana play at home.
Yeah.
I'm a big like series doesn't start till the road team wins kind of guy, and
Mhm.
obviously Indiana already won on the road. But considering they're such an underdog, it still feels like if they can hold serve at home, then that kind of like makes that all true, and we've got a series.
It's a fun ass team. They're really fun to watch, and especially against this OKC team where it seems like everything is the hardest shot of all time. Like every
Yeah,
offensive possession might be the hardest offensive possession you've had all season.
yeah, they're incredible. Like I think we just got numb to it over the course of this season because of just how much rhetoric there was about it being historic and stuff like that. They really are like they're so good. And we talked mostly about the Pacers, probably because we were geeking about game one.
Yeah.
But OKC like deserves a ton of credit. Like Shea was awesome, just knocked down. It felt like every midi that he put up was going down. Everyone else contributed in a real way. Everyone made their shots. Like they just played like super good today.
The last if you take out the Warriors with Kevin Durant, like those two championship teams, and then that finals run at the end, the third finals run where they ended up losing because everyone got hurt. If you take those teams away, the two teams that stand out to me that I've watched that are the best basketball teams that I've probably ever watched throughout a duration of this season is OKC this year and Boston last year, from
Wow.
start to finish. Like if you think about it,
Did
if
you
you
say
take away
ever?
those, if you that we've watched in our
Okay.
lifetimes,
Just like
like
okay, last
because
30 years.
the early 2000s Lakers, I'm not old enough to like understand what's going on in basketball, and I'm not
Okay.
watching every night and all that kind of stuff. I can't take those. Like the Spurs
Fair.
teams were objectively incredible and they played this fundamental basketball where they're playing defense, they're scoring points, and they're just suffocating and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not old enough at
Yeah.
that point to like really get down to the nitty gritty, look at numbers, and watch every game and kind of understand what they're about. But the last two seasons, you get Boston last year from start to finish, best team in basketball. They win the finals in 5.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then OKC this year, they win 68 wins. And now they're in the finals. We're having lost. I mean, they lost 3 games against the Nuggets in round 2, but for the rest
Best
of the
player in the
playoffs,
world.
they didn't lose. Like they lost 1 game against Minnesota. Like
Yeah.
that was a throwaway game. They scored 140 points. Sure, it happens. Like the Pacers might have one of those in this finals too, where they just go up and score 140. OKC
Yeah.
may score 130, but
Yeah.
they may win that one. So
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know. They're
They're
good.
they're really, really good. You heard it here first.
That's analysis
That's
right
right.
there. Really good
Just
basketball team.
parlaying about these two
And
teams in the finals, like, oh, dude, these teams who are in the championship are really good, dude. They're
turns out
really good, dude.
it's not the finals matchup that we wanted, but I'm glad that we're
Well,
here.
yeah, I wanted it to be my
Honestly,
team, but if I had to pick any other scenario, every year I'm usually rooting. I want one juggernaut team and I want a Cinderella, you know?
I wanted Knicks Wolves because I wanted Ant on the biggest stage, and then I wanted the Knicks on the biggest stage just for the
Sure.
storylines.
Fair enough.
But we got here, and I'm fine.
I'm
I'm
satisfied.
content.
I'm
I'm
excited
good
for the
with it.
next game. I hope it's
Yeah,
not 5 days away.
it is. I bet you. I bet you they don't play till
Yeah,
Thursday.
I
For no
actually
reason at all
I think you
whatsoever.
might be right because I'm about to travel for work.
Is it Thursday? It's Sunday.
It is
There's no
okay.
way.
It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Wednesday.
No. Oh yeah, you're right.
Wednesday.
Sorry, I clicked on
6/11.
Tuesday and then it showed me
All
Wednesday.
right, that's not bad.
Yeah, Wednesday,
Extra
Friday,
day for travel.
Monday.
That's fine.
So okay,
Okay. That's
2
not
days from
egregious.
now, but then after that, we get every other day.
It's not
Yeah,
egregious.
could be worse.
All right. I'm okay with that. That's NBA Finals talk. We're gonna hang up here because the storms are about to hit Dallas. I can hear the rain outside already. It's gonna hit us pretty hard tonight. So let's go get some shelter. AKA, I'm gonna get in my bed and sleep through this giant tornado that's gonna wreak havoc through the city. It's gonna be great. I don't know. We'll see. But Sheldon, thank you for joining me. Thank you to our sponsors, J-Bar M Barbecue, just a couple blocks away from Toyota Center. They got free parking, man. That's a big deal in downtown Houston. Go get your free parking at J-Bar M. Best drinks in town, best people, and best barbecue in Houston. J-Bar M Barbecue. Shout out to Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. Get the ready-to-drink cans. Get the Zing Zang. I saw it at Tom Thumb the other day. They got it at Target. They got it everywhere. Zing Zang. Zang responsibly with America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. And shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Paula's Wing Joint. We love Big City Wings. Longtime sponsor, friends of the program. Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Paula's Wing Joint. We'll be back very, very soon with another episode of Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast.